After 5 full days of pre-season testing in Barcelona, the Formula One world was no longer just talking about the new regulations or the bizarre design of the 2026 car. All eyes were on one thing: Lewis Hamilton's reaction to the Ferrari SF-26. And surprisingly, his reaction wasn't just positive. Hamilton openly stated that he loved the car. In fact, he called the latest generation of Formula One cars the most enjoyable he'd driven in years. This was no ordinary compliment. It came from a 7-time world champion, who had driven some of the fastest cars in Formula One history. Hamilton said that the 2026 car felt livelier, more demanding, and put the driver back in the driver's shoes. But one sentence that immediately ignited the paddock was when he described the Ferrari SF-26 as oversteering, snappy, and full of sliding. For most drivers, such characteristics would be a nightmare. A car with a quick rear end, quick loss of grip, and aggressive behavior is usually considered dangerous. But for Hamilton, it was the opposite. He said that's what he wants from a racing car. A car that isn't always obedient, but that gives honest feedback. Hamilton explained that the 2026 generation car is indeed more deceptive, but also easier to control when on the limit. When the rear end starts to move, the driver still has time to react, register, and save the car. This is a fundamental difference compared to the ground effect era from 2022 to 2025. Previous cars were very fast, but when grip was lost, it happened instantly. There was no warning. There was no progression. The car just let go, and the driver could only surrender. Many drivers felt the cars felt cold, stiff, and too dependent on aerodynamics. Hamilton himself has complained several times that the cars felt less connected to him. The 2026 regulations completely changed that philosophy. With lower downforce, the cars did lose some of their mechanical grip, but in return, they became more communicative. The restrictions started to signal earlier. The chassis felt more alive. When the car starts rolling, its movements are still readable and controllable. This is what made Hamilton call this car more fun to drive. According to Hamilton, the 2026 car once again allows room for courage, skill, and racing instinct. Drivers no longer simply adjust settings and follow energy instructions. They must once again work behind the wheel. And for Hamilton, this is the essence of Formula One that he has long missed. Hamilton also highlighted that reduced downforce reduces cornering speed. But that's precisely where the difference lies. With less grip, drivers must be more precise, smoother, and more daring. Small mistakes will be obvious, but drivers with the best control will shine. These conditions greatly benefit experienced drivers like Hamilton. The Barcelona test also showcased another side of Hamilton's mentality. When it rained and most teams opted to stay in the garage, Hamilton took to the track. He explained that last season, his first experience driving a Ferrari in wet conditions came right on race day. That made everything much more difficult. Therefore, he wanted to gain as much experience as possible from pre-season. This is the mindset for fighting for the real world. In terms of performance, the Ferrari SF-26 is sending very positive signals. Hamilton completed 85 laps in just one morning session and called it extraordinary. In total, Ferrari clocked over 440 laps over the 5 days of testing, making it the second highest lap total for the team after Mercedes. For a new car with a new power unit, these numbers are impressive and demonstrate a solid technical foundation. However, behind these numbers, whispers emerged from the paddock. Some from rival teams called the Ferrari SF-26 a handful car. This means it's fast, but not easy. It requires precise setup and highly controlled driving to maximize its potential. But so far, Hamilton seems unfazed. In fact, he set the fastest time of the entire test on the final day, beating George Russell's Mercedes. If this car is indeed challenging, then Hamilton seems to be the right man to tame it. Its oversteer and snappy nature perfectly suit Hamilton's aggressive yet refined driving style. He is known for his ability to control the car at its extreme limits, especially in difficult conditions. The working relationship within the Ferrari team has also been highlighted positively. Hamilton said that communicating is listening, discussing, and jointly discussing the advantages and disadvantages of a car. This is the characteristic the number one driver dominates everything. Everyone works towards one goal. Hamilton even said that he feels the winning mentality at Ferrari is stronger than ever. This is a big statement, considering Ferrari's long history of pressure. The car can be as fast as it can be, but without unity and motivation, titles won't come. The 2026 power unit regulations also add a new layer of challenge. Electric power has increased dramatically. Energy management has become far more complex, and active aerodynamics require drivers to think on every front of the track. But Hamilton is no stranger to major changes. He has lived through 5 different regulation eras and always found a way to adapt. Formula One is ultimately about the balance between man and machine. In recent years, the machine has been too dominant. Now, that balance is back in the driver's hands. The car is wilder, more demanding, and more honest. And that's what Hamilton wants. Mercedes looks strong. Red Bull remains dangerous. The Bahrain test will be the next test, especially in hot conditions and with regard to cooling. But one thing has been clear since Barcelona. The Ferrari SF-26 is no tame car. It's a wild car that demands full commitment. And in Lewis Hamilton's hands, a wild car often becomes its most deadly weapon. The SF-26 doesn't do everything for a driver. It challenges you, forces you to work, and demands true skill. And for Hamilton, this is what Formula One is all about. The question now is the Ferrari SF-26 the right car to carry Hamilton to his 8th world title? Or is it his greatest challenge yet? One thing is for sure, the 2026 season will be anything but boring.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape,